Hello and welcome to the Father and Son Formula One podcast. I'm the father in the title, Graham Miller, and here's my son, Toby.
Hello.
We are talking about the Singapore Grand Prix, and I have to apologise because I can hear it over my headphones. Hopefully I'm getting over a cold, but if I sound a bit odd, that would be why. The Singapore page with the report for FP1
Yes.
doesn't load.
Does it not? The report?
Yeah, anyway, FP2.
Yeah.
I mean, it was what you'd expect of a street circuit free practice. People kept driving into the walls and triggering red flags, as far as I remember.
Yeah, there were a few, I think.
FP2 had a really odd incident where I think it was like Russell stuffed it into the wall and took his front wing off, and he actually said, "Oh, that was weird."
Yeah.
Because I think the back end broke away. It wasn't just like he had too much entry speed or anything. It just something odd happened. But then they had not much time to get some of their quali runs done. And they all lined up in the pit lane, and they released Charles Leclerc, and he drove straight into Lando Norris.
Yeah.
And okay, it was a minor thing. I think Norris got a new front wing. The
Yeah.
Ferrari mechanics were so embarrassed you could actually see them pushing the McLaren back into the garage to help their friends out.
Yeah. Because there was a guy whose job it is to check what cars are coming.
Yeah.
And I don't think he even looked down the pit lane, he just waved him straight out.
Yeah, it was just...
Because Leclerc can't see from where he is in the garage.
Yeah, I remember now, the really odd thing about about free practice in Singapore
Yes.
is that FP1 and FP3 happen in the daylight. And FP2 is the only one that happens at night under the lights.
In the same conditions as the race.
100%, and as the qualifying.
So in a way, FP1 and 3 are kind of less useful.
They are useful for long runs and race pace, but if you want to absolutely know the very best setup for, say, qualifying, and that's why this accident happened, you need to get out, because they do race runs in probably the first 40-50 minutes, and then they do low fuel, soft tyre.
It is weird then, because Russell only did 6 laps in FP2.
Yeah?
So that makes his qualifying even more unbelievable, really.
Oh yeah, and I mean it was a fairly epic, and it's roughly, it's Formula One, it's probably hundredths of a second the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like Singapore is ferociously hot.
Yeah, that was the declared a heat hazard.
Yeah, and there's this weird thing about a lot of the prominent drivers like Lewis and Max don't like the cooling vests.
Yeah. I think Max doesn't like the idea that they'll be forced to use them.
Well, yeah, from what I've heard, I think Sainz said that they're a definite performance advantage because you can concentrate better.
Yeah.
But they only last 20 minutes to half an hour into the race, and then they're recirculating hot water around.
Well, yeah, it's a bit like the drink gets very hot as well.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the race, Norris said he didn't drink because it was actually, hot or warm.
And, yeah, what a lot of people complain about is because there's tubes all over the vest and they're bulky, it actually makes, the harnesses and the actual sitting in the cockpit a lot more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we did have, and I think there's weight adjustments, aren't there? So everybody has to be carrying the weight of the vest and the cooling equipment, whether or not they're using it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, F1 drivers will just pass out from the heat to save, half a kilo.
Yeah, they would, probably.
Totally.
Yeah. But I don't think it was, too big of a problem. I think they just wanted to avoid stuff like what happened to Sargent in Qatar a year or two ago.
Yeah, that was, I think it was Qatar 23, where they just literally, people were passing out.
Well, yeah, I think Sargent said he started feeling sick.
I think Ocon threw up in his helmet.
Yeah, Ocon threw up.
And I think
Sargent just pulled into the garage because he was feeling unwell.
Well, I think he was actually unable to stay conscious in the car.
Which is quite kind of horrific, actually.
It's not safe.
I mean, I don't think I've ever actually been so hot that I've struggled to stay conscious. Let alone driving a car.
We went out, oh God, one of the Imp Club Nationals, which are always at the first week of August.
Yes.
A friend of ours, who we've known for years, suddenly stopped making sense.
Oh.
And he was just rambling. And in the end, everybody sat him down. They force-fed him a lot of cold drinks, and somebody made him a chili out of a tin. And it turned out he just hadn't been eating or drinking enough.
Oh.
Because he was out, he wasn't in the shade, he was walking around a field in the bright sunlight. He just went downhill really fast.
Yeah. It does mess you up.
Yeah.
Heat.
But I mean, obviously, they'd have hydration drinks, they'd have proper hydration prep, proper food prep.
I know they have ice baths.
Yeah.
After the race.
I think it was Science one year, actually, when he got a sauna. He set up, I think, either a gym, I think he set up an exercise bike in his sauna, and they went in there in the full triple layer fireproof everything and practiced on the exercise bike.
Yeah, I think I've heard multiple drivers practicing their like heat training.
Yeah, which sounds really unpleasant.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're right, actually. I'm looking at the FP2. Both Mercedes were way down at the bottom.
Yeah.
The two Ferraris were 9th and 10th, which, spoiler alert, is about where they were.
Yeah. It's pretty standard Ferrari.
Max was in 3rd.
Yeah.
Oscar was a long way, about half a second ahead of Norris. So you're right, FP2 doesn't really seem to have given us much of an indicator of what
quali was like. Or did it rain? No, it didn't rain, did it? That was later.
It rained between quali and race, I think, to green the track. Yeah, you see FP3, which was on the Saturday morning, went Verstappen, Piastri, Russell, Antonelli, Norris.
It's a bit
actually,
more...
even Sainz Hadjar.
I don't actually remember what happened in qualifying now. Yeah, Hadjar was in the top 10.
Yeah.
It's just the classic thing of like free practice never actually matters as much as we think it does.
No, I mean, it's nice to watch, but it really has no bearing whatsoever.
Well, very little bearing. Like broad trends like Sauber behind Ferrari.
Yeah.
But the actual being on track in qualifying, putting the lap together, anything can happen.
Yeah, and especially a small, kind of short track, crowded circuit like Singapore.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chances for somebody ahead of you to hit a wall, to catch a yellow flag even on a hot lap. And
yeah. Did that happen during quali? I don't think it did.
It didn't, but it's like I'm saying, qualifying can be really random, can't it?
Well, we had the Baku qualifying that lasted 2 hours.
Yes.
There was just like a race of attrition, just like kind of, if you can put a lap together, you'll probably get through to Q2.
Oh, that's right. I remember I said to you on WhatsApp, the top 5 in FP3 were less than a tenth between them.
Yes, and so you said the qualifying might be really
intense,
really
but then
intense.
It kind of
was. Well, it doesn't really help that Russell just did his lap, and then in Q3 nobody really improved.
Yeah.
Except Russell, just to go even faster.
Well, Liam Lawson slid into the wall pretty much all the time.
Yeah, he did it in practice and in quali, didn't he?
Yeah, well, you're at practice sliding into the wall.
Yeah, got to make sure you do it right.
Yeah, get the angle and everything.
Yeah, he only did 7 laps in practice 3.
I think the Aston Martin went wrong as well.
Because they were fastest in FP1 with Alonso, which was a bit of like but then just didn't seem to do very well. So qualifying.
Yep. Q1.
I think it was fairly standard Q1.
Yeah, I think it was, again, like a lot of this season. It kind of looked like it was going to be very exciting, and then it kind of just...
Yeah. I think everybody just sort of got their laps in. Did Norris have a little bit of a worry to get his lap in time, or... I'm going to read the report. Actually, I'm not just going to sort of try and remember.
So the three, I'm only reading that, the three that fell out at Q1 were Bortoleto, Stroll, Colapinto, Ocon and Gasly. So
Yes.
it's a kind of mixture of Haas, Aston Martin, Sauber,
and Alpine.
It's a fairly good mix of teams, actually.
Yeah.
No kind of big scalps, basically.
No big surprises, unfortunately.
No.
Hamilton was fastest, I think, in Q1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Q2 is when... Oh, there were some yellow flag infringements. Oh, yeah, so... Like, there was the crash, I think, was that Lawson? Oh no, Gasly suddenly stopped, and that brought out the yellow flags, but a bunch of the drivers sort of improved in that moment. It was yeah. And
I think they were reported to the stewards, but then nothing really happened.
They investigated after the session, which people still don't really like.
And Antonelli nearly dropped out because his lap time was deleted for track limits.
I remember that, yeah. Well, yeah, Russell just kept... Yeah, Russell kept staying ahead of him.
Now, Tsunoda dropped out in Q2.
Yeah.
But I've actually... Yeah, I can hear that in your voice. But I've actually seen a graphic. Max was running a new rear wing, and it's... As much as these things ever are, it was quite different.
Yeah.
There were like extra bumps on the top edge of the front wing. The nose on Verstappen's car was narrower. And it had extra little winglets each side of the nose where it joins the wing.
Yeah.
So actually lining up 11th, given that he's basically driving a B car now.
Yeah, it's not awful.
No.
But, yeah, he came 11th because both Albon and Sainz were out in Q2.
Yeah.
And then they got disqualified for a wing infringement. Or wing infringement.
And weirdly, this has happened to Williams before. They measured the DRS opening gap, and I think it's like 85 mil or something.
Yeah.
And Williams thought it was within tolerance. It was 85 mil. But the stewards measured it and said, no, it's not. It's opening too much. And then Williams said, yeah, we accept that. So it does sound like an incredibly basic thing to get wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I think they have a red foam ball that's exactly 85 mil across. And if they can't pass it through, it's okay. And if it does go through, it's not.
But they don't want it to go through... They don't want it to have a massive gap.
No.
They want it to be, like, flush to save as much time as possible.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and read the news article about... Yeah, 85 mil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and there's a really odd thing in Q3. Because I think Norris was on a cool-down lap.
Yeah.
Verstappen was doing his hot lap, but he was 3 or 4 seconds behind. Like, Verstappen was 3 or 4 seconds back from Norris.
Yeah.
And Verstappen got really angry about it. He was like, oh, well, I think GP Lambiase, his race engineer, said, oh, you've got your mate to thank for that.
Yeah.
And Verstappen actually said, oh, yeah, he messed up my lap. It is noted, I will remember.
Yeah. It's
And
like,
you kind of think...
what did Norris do? He just was ahead of you by like 5 seconds.
Yeah, and the
Pulled
impression I
into the
got was that Max expects every other driver in the track within 6 or 7 seconds to clear out of the way for his royal progress. It's like...
Yeah.
It's not...
Yeah.
It's like, it's not a deliberate attempt to qualify ahead of him. It's just... And I think a part of the problem is that because Singapore is a street circuit in a city, and there aren't big runoff areas, the air kind of tends to compress and churn around a bit.
Yeah.
And the dirty air effect does spread, I think they've said 6 or 7 seconds further back from the car in front.
Yeah, I think that is the case. The dirty air in Singapore is probably a lot worse.
But it's quite an odd response from Verstappen, I thought.
Yeah, I do think it's a bit kind of... It's just kind of like he's blaming somebody else for him not being fast enough. And maybe almost trying to kind of make drama out of nothing almost.
It's quite unlike Verstappen. He's generally quite kind of even-headed about stuff like that.
Yeah, you'd think he'd be a bit more like, damn, that's annoying.
So yeah, Russell stuck it on pole with an incredible lap.
2 incredible laps, arguably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the only... Oh no, he wasn't the only one in the 129s all season. All 3 sessions, but yeah. Piastri came in 3rd, Verstappen was 2nd, and then it was Antonelli and Norris, and then 6th and 7th were the 2 Ferraris.
Yeah.
And then we had Hadjar, I think that's a season best for him, qualifying 8th.
Did he not qualify 4th?
Oh yeah, he was, that's where he got his podium from.
Yeah. Still good. I mean, top 10. Well, there was... Tsunoda was out, so then it was like... There were 3 spots because of the 7.
Yeah.
So it was Hadjar, Behrman and Alonso.
Yep.
Pretty good from Behrman.
Yeah, I think that might be a career best for Behrman, actually.
I think he qualified 7th in the Ferrari back in the day. So,
season best, yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
And again, I remember thinking... There was rain between qualifying and race.
Yes.
It's quite a long run down to the first corner.
Yes.
So I was looking at it thinking, Russell and Verstappen have history. Then you've got Piastri and Antonelli, and then right behind Piastri you've got Norris.
Yeah.
Like, not that it was a bad race, but I kind of expected the race to be a lot more fireworks than it actually was.
Yeah. Well, I think there was that one Singapore Grand Prix 2017 where it was raining and there was that almighty crash between, I think it was Vettel, Verstappen and not Alonso, Raikkonen.
Yeah.
It was the 3 of them just sort of went into one and just smashed everything up.
Yeah.
And I think people then expect that Singapore's going to be a bit like Baku because of that. But it's actually been pretty chill for a long time.
And it is quite hard to overtake as well.
Yeah.
So at the start, this was like the most... I'm actually getting a bit bored of the analysis of this start. And, you know, every news site is like, oh, well, this guy who delivered a coffee to the F1 garage in 1987 thinks that... ...
Yeah.
So it was, I think it was a start of 2 halves, really, because Verstappen started on softs, which raised everybody's eyebrows, but there was still the threat of rain, there's still the threat of a safety car, so I think he was playing the odds.
Also, he was on the dirty side of the track.
Yeah.
Which is like... I think it was less pronounced because of the rain, but it was still pretty bad.
Yeah. But like some of the people had good starts and some had bad.
Yeah.
Russell had a really good start and got away.
Yes.
So did McLaren. I'm just looking at the qualifying results. But then Piastri, I'm going to say, had an awful start.
I think so.
I think the second row, Piastri and Antonelli had really bad starts.
And I think the dirty side of the grid as well.
Yeah, but Piastri was on the good side. He was right behind Norris. Not Norris.
I'm looking at
Russell.
the highlights on my phone real quick, just to see the start.
But then Norris and Leclerc made absolutely blinding starts.
Yeah, that is true, because Norris was, what, the row behind Piastri?
Yeah, he was directly behind Piastri, and going into turn one, he was enough alongside to disturb Piastri's line into the corner.
Yeah, Piastri did not have a great start. He got Antonelli and Norris all up alongside.
And the big incident where Norris, quotes, he did hit his teammate. If you're actually watching the start, Piastri left the door wide open.
Well, yeah, because Norris was kind of already alongside him at that point, I thought.
Which again is... But that's Piastri's fault. How come if he starts over a car length in front, how come by the first corner he hasn't got the apex because Norris has got somehow not only caught up to him but has got up the inside?
Well, Norris lunges. And then Piastri kind of has to jink away from him because he suddenly is there.
Yeah.
As Piastri's turning in, so Norris kind of forces his way through.
Yeah.
And then as Piastri's on the outside, from Piastri's perspective, which of course is not all the information.
Yeah.
Norris suddenly just drifts out into him and bangs his wheel.
Yeah.
And nearly puts him into the barrier.
Yeah.
So that's why, again, in that instant, without looking at the replays, he was just like, why did he do that? What was the point of that?
Yeah. In hindsight, we know he went into the back of Verstappen because Verstappen slowed suddenly.
Yeah. I think overall it was still a bit messy from Norris.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's been a lot of Zach Brown wants Norris to be world champion and he doesn't like Piastri and it's all a big conspiracy. But the one thing I would say, and I've seen this somewhere, if you go back to Austria...
Yes.
Piastri was behind Norris, and it was middle of the race and they were chasing. And Piastri locks up all four wheels and nearly slides into the back of Norris as he's trying to outbrake him into a corner.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think it's his regular race engineer. I don't think it was bad enough for Andre or Zach to get on the phone.
Yeah.
But Piastri is told, "Oh, don't do that again. We need clean racing, guys." It's don't repeat turn 4, I think it was.
Yeah.
And now my argument is, why wasn't Norris given the same warning in Singapore?
Well, because he got past him.
Yeah, but if Piastri was given a warning for nearly hitting his teammate, shouldn't Norris be given, not a massive telling off, but just hey, Norris, try and keep it clean, we don't want to hit each other.
Yeah, and I think I've even seen at the start of the season, Piastri said, or was interviewed or something.
Yeah.
And they said, what are papaya rules? And he basically just said, well, the only rule we actually have is don't hit your teammate.
Yeah.
Which is now obviously... Yeah, it's literally one rule, which is don't crash into each other.
Which is actually the number one rule for every team on the grid.
Yeah, but of course it's basically happened in every team on the grid already.
Well, this is the second time Norris has crashed into Piastri.
Yeah, because he did it in Canada.
Yeah.
He just got away with it because he DNF'd and Piastri didn't.
Yeah.
So Piastri wasn't mad at that.
But you got to look at it in terms of driving skill. It's well, I mean, yes, I think it's definitely a racing incident. I think Piastri left the door wide open. And
also, I think earlier in the year, we were almost criticising Norris for not being cutthroat enough and not having that killer instinct. And in fairness, that was quite a gutsy move. And he did get past him.
Also, back to 2024, everybody was saying, well, Norris, he's like they call Russell Mr. Saturday. Norris is brilliant. He can get it on pole, and then he hasn't won a race from pole yet.
Yeah.
Because, the first corner, he always just chokes and people get past him. So that is almost certainly playing in the back of Norris's mind. He's got to be more aggressive on the start.
Yeah, and he was.
Yeah, and, Piastri left it wide open at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the real problem, I think, is that McLaren have tried to meddle too much.
Oh, definitely.
Because if that had been any other team, Oscar would have got on the radio and gone, that was rude. And then the engineers would have gone, yeah, head down. And that would have been the end of the discussion.
Yeah.
But because they did the swapping with the pit stops and stuff, and they've tried to make it as fair as possible, Oscar gets on the radio and goes, well, where's my, Monza moment?
Yeah. I mean, everybody said after Monza, well, that's Pandora's box opened, and it's,
They've now opened it immediately.
It's now, they've reaped, it's just come true, hasn't it? It's, interestingly, and this is just like so completely believable, Max said, and whether or not he was joking, I don't know, he said, I will never give up a position in a race.
Well, we know he won't, because he didn't even give one up to Checo in Brazil, did he?
No.
And even though it could have helped them with the championship.
But the actual reason is that his father Jos said to him, oh, if you give up a position in the race, I'll kick you in the balls.
Yeah. But that is a bit like, that's a bit Jos, isn't it?
That's kind of, like I say, it's totally believable. But actually, that kind of makes it then much, much simpler, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just, well, the thing is that Red Bull, Verstappen's the number one, isn't he?
I don't think it even matters about being number one. If you've earned a position in a race, you take it.
Yeah.
It's yours. I mean, the only exception to that would be, I would say, and this is between the drivers and not the team, if, like, you get a driver who's maybe on a faster strategy, or somebody's been stuck behind and can't overtake the guy in front, they might say, okay, give my teammate like 10 laps to overtake him, and if he can't, I'll have the position back.
Yeah.
And that's kind of an agreement between two drivers more than anything.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever even seen Max do that.
No. Although, I will say, I don't know that Max has ever asked for a position off another driver.
No, and
that's largely because for the last 4 years he's not actually ever been behind his teammate.
Well, there's that, and there's also, there aren't many people who Max can't get past.
When it was him and Ricciardo, and again, I think Ricciardo is actually the last driver that Max has ever faced that he, that didn't just get completely washed by him.
Yeah.
Well, it ended up in that one incident in Baku, didn't it, where they crashed into each other?
Yeah.
Because the Red Bull rules were always just free to race.
Yeah.
But then that happened, and I think actually because they kind of sided with Max in terms of the blame being on Ricciardo, I think that's why Ricciardo left in the end.
Yeah, it's very hard to kind of...
Ultimately, it's just impossible to manage two F1 drivers at a time, because they're such... To be a good F1 driver, you have to have a big ego.
And to be ruthless and just kind of get...
And aggressive.
And then, and this is the bit I don't understand. I thought, oh my god, it's going to be like absolute carnage now. Oscar's just going to go for him, And within about 3 or 4 laps, he was 5 seconds behind.
Yeah, that was a bit sort of disappointing, almost.
Yeah. I kind of thought, well, Oscar's going to he's going to look for an opportunity, he's going to force him into a mistake.
Yeah.
And then when he went that far behind, I was like, okay, maybe he's
also
protecting his tyres, trying to go long.
Yeah, but it just never really sort of happened.
No.
He was only 2 seconds off him at the end of the race.
Which is, again, back to Pandora's box, less time than he lost in the messed up pit stop.
Was it Piastri who had a slow pit stop?
Yeah, and he lost...
Norris had the slow pit stop last time.
Yeah.
It's only fair. Everything must be as fair as possible.
Well, exactly, this is the problem.
But I think... Yeah, also Norris was missing a bit of his front wing.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, unfortunately for Piastri, Norris is better than him at Singapore.
Yeah.
Because last year at Singapore, Norris had that utterly dominant win. That was like a big statement. And Piastri was kind of struggling around in 4th.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Singapore is just one of Norris's favourite hunting grounds.
Yeah.
So I don't think even without the contact, I think Norris probably would have got him eventually.
Yeah, that's definite.
But yeah, it is kind of falling apart a bit at McLaren.
Well, the thing now is, because of the points they scored in this race,
Yeah.
they are now constructors champions for the second year running.
Yeah.
But that also then frees up both drivers. If Norris and Piastri crash into each other in every subsequent race and wipe each other out, they'll still be constructors champions.
Yeah.
So all this like Piastri going, well, it's best for the team in that kind of grudging post Monza way.
Well, yeah.
Doesn't matter anymore.
No, it doesn't.
There's no more best for the team. There's best for me as a driver.
Yeah, it's going to get quite kind of spicy, I think.
Well, I keep saying that, and then I kind of think I've said that so many times and got so many times excited, and then it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, they've never actually. I don't remember the last time they were properly fighting on track for position. Was it the Hungarian Grand Prix?
No, I think Norris in Hungary. I think Norris just made a one-stop work much better than Piastri did. I mean, I've kind of got a gut feeling that we're going to get all excited, and in the end, it'll be 2 races from the end, and Piastri will win by coming like 5th because Norris came in 7th, and they'll all do the maths, and nobody will be on the podium when they win.
Yeah, I think actually one of them might DNF again, and that will also tip it the other way.
Yeah. But I don't know, we've been saying for like race after race, oh, it's going to get really exciting, and then it's like tyre management and pit stops. And...
Again, we're expecting 2021, which was unbelievably good. Apart from the final race got wrecked, but apart from like the lead up to it and then being like equal on points, was just like we've never seen anything like it since, and I don't think we will for a long time.
Also, the fact it was Max's first ever championship or Lewis's 8th, utterly record-breaking championship. The stakes were so high,
and it was 2 different teams. I think that's actually quite important because it made it much easier for both Mercedes and Red Bull. If Valtteri was ahead of Lewis, they'd just say, "Come on, like you're not fighting for the championship. Hamilton is, move over," and he would, because it's actually but now with this kind of, it's almost a bit Mercedes 2016.
You see, what I think Piastri needs to do, and obviously he can't manipulate it, he needs to get Verstappen to overtake Norris in the points.
Yeah,
because if that happens, he can just go to Andre and Zach and go, right, I'm number 1 driver, I need this.
Yeah. I was going to say I don't think that'll happen. But there was that little bit where, like, Verstappen gained a huge number of points on Norris just in, like, a handful of races because of those couple of wins.
And they've spoken to Verstappen about it, and again, he's been really sensible about it. He said, yeah, mathematically I can do it, but I'll need to drive really well, and I'll need some bad luck for the McLarens.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. He needs them to get in each other's way a bit more, a bit like 2007.
Yeah,
he is kind of the Raikkonen of the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, it's McLaren again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a Brit. And yeah, that's about where it ends, actually.
No, it's a young Brit looking for his first title.
Yeah, but Piastri's even younger, so it doesn't really work.
Apparently, Piastri has been talking to Hamilton.
Yeah.
And Hamilton said, yeah, never ever give up a place from now on.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't. Because, I mean, Seb didn't, did he? In that one race, the Multi-21. But he kind of got away with it, I think.
Yeah.
Like, Red Bull didn't really punish him that much for just ignoring the order.
Well, it was the other way around. Multi-21 was like, hold your positions to the end of the race.
Yeah, don't overtake.
And Seb just went, I'm faster, I'm having it. Which, it comes back to what we were saying, they're racing drivers. Just let them do their job.
But also, I think that's a bit, Mark Webber he is Piastri's manager.
Exactly.
And he was the number 2 in that context.
Right, let's wrap up the race. Oh, that was the other thing. Ferrari were just really dull in, I think, Hamilton in 6th and Leclerc in 7th.
Ah, yes, of course. And then suddenly it wasn't dull.
I mean, I don't... on normal brakes, and I presume apart from the very expensive materials, it's the same in F1 cars. You've basically got a pad that is pushed each side onto a disc.
Yeah.
And that pad is covered in a sacrificial material.
It's carbon, I think.
Yeah, it used to be asbestos. It's now just weird hybrid stuff. Obviously, it's probably carbon.
Carbon ceramic.
Yeah.
I think that sounds right.
But if you wear the pad down enough, and you had this on your OT actually.
I did, yeah.
You can actually start to get a squealing noise, and that's where the pad's so far gone. There's metal on metal.
I don't think I had that, but...
No, you'd really know about it.
But I did have one kind of instance where I had to brake quite sharply, and the front left, which I think was the one that was gone, it kind of caught a little bit and didn't quite... I think it took a second or two to actually latch on, and that's when I was like, oh, that's probably quite bad, actually.
Yeah.
But thankfully my MOT was the next day, so there was nothing I could do about it then.
Yeah. And Hamilton actually had sparks coming out of his front left.
I think they do catch fire sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not unusual, but yeah, his brake basically fell apart.
Mm.
But it was only the front left, so he did have some braking.
And it was 3 laps to go.
Or 2, something like that.
There's 2 laps. He lost something horrific, like 30 or 40 seconds to Fernando Alonso.
Yeah. And so... But the problem was that Russell crossed the line.
Yeah.
He won the race. McLaren won the Constructors. Brilliant.
Yep.
They're showing the Mercedes garage. They're showing, as they were all through the race, all the girlfriends of all the drivers.
Apparently that was only 20 seconds, but
What, that he lost?
No, that they spent showing girlfriends, but...
Still.
Yeah.
They spent a long time focusing on, like, the post-race celebrations. And then the timing tower, you could just see the gap between Hamilton and Alonso just tumbling down.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell is Hamilton doing? What's going on?
Yeah.
Turns out he was cutting a million corners. Because
that's what's happening in our household as well.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't there, but I can imagine.
I suppose if we'd had the red button thing, we could have actually watched the onboard from Alonso.
That's what they're doing. That's why the TV coverage is deliberately rubbish. They want you to buy the Sky Glass thing.
Yeah.
So that you can look at the onboards.
Anyway.
It's a big conspiracy.
Yep.
Anyway.
Alonso was 0.4 of a second behind Hamilton at the line.
Yeah, and I mean...
And like you say, he saw so many corners being cut. There's actually a hilarious and very not safe for work radio message from Alonso when he came over the line. Which, to be fair, the stewards did give Hamilton a 5-second penalty to drop in behind Alonso.
Yeah.
I mean, in a lot of ways, he was lucky it was only 5 seconds.
Yeah. There's a certain... They could have honestly DQ'd him for driving in an unsafe condition.
Or certainly, is it black and yellow?
Black and orange. Black flag with an orange circle, which is technical.
Oh, what's the one for oil on the track then?
I don't remember. It's like black and orange checkered, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Gonna look it up, see if I was right.
But yeah,
there's... was it red and yellow stripes?
So, yeah. George was first, Max was second, and then... This is what I mean about the championship. Max, Lando, Oscar with 2, 3, 4. So actually, there were only 6 points between them, nothing much.
Yeah.
Antonelli came in 5th, which is very strong. Leclerc came in 6th, Alonso came in 7th, Hamilton eventually 8th, Behrman, and then Sainz.
Sainz pit lane to points.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Agile came in 11th, which is okay. I mean, it's a bit disappointing after qualified 8th.
Yeah, but I think Alonso was sort of resurgent in that race a little bit.
Yeah.
Actually, Alonso had a really good race. He was always just getting mixed up.
Yeah, he had a lot of fun.
And I think he got driver of the day, which I don't disagree with.
Yeah. Sonoda down in 12th, which is a bit meh.
Yeah, I think we've kind of done the Red Bull second seat to death a bit, where it's like, what is the solution?
Yep. I think there's a real split happening now, because I know Red Bull at least are, while concentrating on the 2026 car and the brand new regs, they've realised if they continue to develop the Red Bull they're running now, they could actually make up some serious ground.
Well, they could see second in the constructors.
Well, which is incredible, because it's just
they're 35 points off Mercedes.
Right, let's have a look at the points. Oh, I meant to mention last time, and it hasn't changed yet. The world champion will be Piastri or Norris or Verstappen or Russell or Leclerc.
Yeah.
If those five all just collectively got together and went, I'm bored of F1 and walked off, Hamilton still would not be champion.
No.
There are not enough points on the board.
No.
And in the constructors, well, we know it's McLaren now.
Yeah, it is McLaren. They've won it.
But you're right. There are 35 points between Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull.
That's actually pretty exciting as a fight goes, because 35 is far less than a 1-2.
But if you look at it, you have Mercedes had a 1-5.
Yes.
Red Bull got a second, and Ferrari got a 6th and an 8th.
So who did the best out of them?
Well, Ferrari picked up 12 points.
I think it's got to be Mercedes.
Well, Mercedes
then,
got 35.
just based on the win.
And Red Bull got 18, so...
Actually, Antonelli put in a pretty good shift there.
Yeah. What's his name? Elkan, the president of Ferrari, is mumbling and grumbling.
Yeah. Thing is, I think it's really the upper management of Ferrari who are kind of just stuck in their ways a bit and promoting this culture of like, we're not going to fire anybody, or...
Well,
I don't know if that...
There are rumours.
Yeah.
Rumours of a new team boss at Ferrari.
Another one.
Yes.
I can't help but feel like it's just not a good idea, though.
Well, how many team bosses do you know who are sat at home, twiddling their thumbs with a huge payout, just looking for a job? What's that?
Not Horner.
Yeah.
Again, feels like a really bad idea.
Why would Ferrari not employ somebody who's got 14 world championships under his belt?
For various other reasons relating to Horner and the way he sort of works.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean...
Right, let's go out. This is in the land of fantasy now.
Yes, speculation.
Horner to Ferrari.
Yes. Well, actually, I don't know if Horner would ever work with Hamilton, I've got to say. Or vice versa.
Well, there is that, isn't there? But
yeah.
Charles Leclerc has been seen talking to everybody and anybody who isn't a Ferrari person.
Including his therapist?
Probably, because, I mean, I've seen memes of like 4 consecutive photos of different years of like Charles Leclerc getting older, and they say, can you just see the hope dying in his eyes?
Yeah.
Because he's been with Ferrari for 7 seasons.
And I don't... Where was his highest finish in the championship? It was probably like 3rd or something.
I mean, he's a nearly man, that's the problem.
I came 2nd in 22.
Yeah.
And 3rd in 24.
And he's regarded as one of the top flight drivers, and he's kind of thinking,
yeah,
how much more loyalty do I owe this team before I decide I want my world title?
It's almost the opposite of what Vettel and Hamilton have done.
Yeah.
Where they've tried to rescue Ferrari in the later stages of their career.
Yeah, and Alonso.
Yeah. And now Leclerc's kind of come to Ferrari early on. And now it's like, how long do I stay? Because what if I leave and then they're really good?
Yeah.
What if he goes to like Red Bull and suddenly Red Bull are awful and Ferrari win the championship? You kick yourself.
Yeah, Anyway, so if Horner goes to Ferrari, which is still a really odd thought, Piastri leaves McLaren.
Piastri to Ferrari?
Yeah. And then he's got Lewis Hamilton as an Alonso-like mentor to finally hone his racecraft, toughen him up a bit.
But Hamilton's not going to be there forever.
No, but he's still like 2 or 3 years younger than Alonso, so another 4 or 5 years is possible.
Yeah. That could be... that would be really bizarre to see Piastri and Horner in Ferrari gear together. Would
With
just
Hamilton.
be like, if you'd showed someone that in like 2023, they'd just laugh at you.
And then start looking to lock you up.
Yeah.
More transfer news.
Mm.
George Russell has been looking to fire Toto Wolff.
Really?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Toto Wolff is his manager.
What?
Yeah.
Why isn't he got him a contract yet then?
Well, because I've actually seen George Russell joking about this. He says, if you ever try and talk to Toto about anything difficult, he just walks off and refuses to answer your phone calls. So I'm just doing the same thing to him, he said.
Yeah. If I was Russell, I'd start looking elsewhere. Maybe not even as like a serious thing. But I'd almost start having like big public conversations with Red Bull or something.
I mean, I think everybody knows that next year Russell and Antonelli are going to be working for Mercedes.
Well, yeah, everybody but Toto
But
Wolff.
I think Russell wants an independent manager, or at least a contract negotiator.
Yeah.
And part of the problem is that Toto Wolff's policy has always been, why should I hand out a long contract? If I give somebody a 3 or 4 year contract, why do I think they're going to drive faster than somebody who's on a 2 or a 1 or a 1+1?
Yeah.
Which is a very valid point from Toto Wolff, but I think Russell needs to feel some love, I think he needs somebody to say, you're doing a brilliant job, let's reward you.
Yeah. I mean...
Whether that's in the form of an extra year on his contract, or less time on his media duties, or, getting somebody else in to do a lot of the simulator and tyre testing, or, you know what I mean?
Well, only 4 drivers have won a race this year.
Yeah.
And he's actually been one of the best drivers on the grid, arguably.
Oh, yeah, I mean, and if you consider that he was in a real weird no man's land, we spoke about this at the end of last year and the beginning of this.
Yeah.
He was kind of brought in as teammate to Hamilton and actually did astonishingly well against him.
Yeah.
And then his boss was always talking about trying to steal Max Verstappen. And then his boss brings in this wonder kid who he says, he's the next big thing.
Mm.
Now, I'm not being funny, but somebody like Alonso would just throw all his toys out the pram.
Yeah.
And instead, Russell has done the best thing possible. He's got his head down, he's got his helmet on, and he's just raced hard. He's delivered result after result after result.
Yeah.
Which, considering how a lot of drivers would be so fed up at this point.
Yeah.
A lot of drivers would just be like, well, they don't care. Why should I care?
I feel like he kind of is a bit fed up.
Yeah, but he's not letting it affect his work. He's
just increasing his value.
Yeah. He's won 2 races. He's holding 4th. He's 27. He's like 64 points ahead of Leclerc.
Yeah.
He's actually closing the gap to Verstappen quite substantially.
Yeah. He's been one of the better drivers this year.
I think people will look back at Russell's career and go, 2025 was when he stopped being a teammate of Hamilton, stopped being a protege of Williams and became his own man.
He's the team leader at Mercedes now, isn't he, properly?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it is a bit kind of mean of Mercedes not to have offered him a contract at this point.
Like I say, I think everybody knows it's going to happen because, if nothing else, there aren't any other big...
Well, yeah, where else could he go, yeah.
I mean, Red Bull and Racing Bulls are all up in the air.
Yeah, except Max.
Well, Max will be there. I think people think Arvid Lindblad is going to be brought up to Racing Bulls.
Yeah. Then
Did we say this?
Tsunoda.
Alex Dunn.
Oh yeah, he's left McLaren now.
Yeah. Rich. So Alex Dunn is a F2 driver. He's done a lot of FP1 sessions. We're quite used to seeing his name up there. He was in the McLaren driver development program. But both Piastri and Norris have very long contracts ahead of them. I can't remember who McLaren reserve driver is. But
I don't either.
But I think Dunn is looking... it's Pato Award. Who's also done a lot of IndyCar work as well.
Yeah, he's one of the top IndyCar drivers.
But I think two things have happened. I think God, what's his first name? Dunn.
Alex Dunn.
Alex Dunn.
Yeah.
Has looked at the contracts. I think Norris and Piastri are out to 27, 28, that kind of area.
Yeah, I think so.
Which, if you're young, looks like a lifetime away, and it probably is in Formula One. And there's no kind of openings because there's Pato Award already in the F1 reserve driver program. And somebody else pointed out he wouldn't have made a move like that unless he's having some very serious kind of finer points of contract negotiations with another team.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think people are even speculating further and saying it might be Racing Bulls with a Lindblad Dunn pairing.
Yeah.
And kind of come back to the original ethos of Red Bull, which is get young drivers, chuck them in Racing Bulls and see who wins.
Yeah, so that would be moving Hadjar up to Red Bull full time.
And then getting rid of Lawson and Tsunoda.
I think Lawson probably deserves to stay, maybe.
Yeah. Oh!
I'd probably put Lawson up with Lindblad and then get Dunn as like a test reserve driver.
Yeah.
And then maybe swap them halfway through the season if either of Lawson or Lindblad are not performing.
But there's another theory out there as well.
Yes.
Guess where Tsunoda could go?
I actually have no idea at this point.
Aston Martin.
Instead of whom?
I don't know. Well, I think they're moving away from Lawrence Stroll's control at Aston.
Well, they're going to get bought by the Saudis at some point.
Yeah. And, more importantly, they're going to get Honda power.
Oh.
Who's one of Tsunoda's big sponsors?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Who would really love to see a Japanese driver on the grid?
Yeah.
Honda.
Exactly. So that does make a certain amount of sense, I think.
Yeah. I can't believe Tsunoda's down in 17th.
Yeah. I mean, he's hardly scored any points at all this year.
It's really sad.
He scored 20 points. He scored the same number of points as Gasly.
Yeah.
And we've got this weird sort of like cluster with Behrman, Bortoletto, Tsunoda, Gasly are all separated by 2 points.
Yeah. There's Behrman as well. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of ground to be made up there, isn't there? So, yeah, that's the driver's market. It's looking actually a lot more fluid than people thought.
Yeah.
It looks like the midfield battle is kind of stretching out with Williams on over 100.
Yeah. RB and Aston Martin are close.
Yeah.
Sauber,
Haas and Alpine are kind of
clustered around the bottom, yeah.
Yeah.
I think with Sauber they don't have enough consistency, really.
No, they've had some storming results and then fallen off.
Yeah, I mean, that Hulkenberg podium was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's, was that 15 points? But he's on 37, so that's nearly half his points in one race.
Yeah. Oh.
What?
I've literally just flicked over to Facebook and seen a rumour.
Oh, God.
Look, exactly what we were talking about. Just a straight Piastri-Leclerc swap.
So Leclerc to McLaren?
Yeah.
Thing is, McLaren are also operationally a bit weak at the moment.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would be much of an improvement over Ferrari.
Well, they've got more championships.
Well, recently, yeah. They've got a better car, for sure.
Also, McLaren are in the middle of a lawsuit with Alex Palou.
Pelot.
Pelot,
Yeah.
where they're seeking 20 million in damages. Because they signed him up to be, I think, a reserve driver. Oh no, it's to do with McLaren IndyCar, that's right.
Yeah.
He was meant to be racing for them for McLaren IndyCar, and he couldn't see a route back to Formula 1 from there, so he went with Chip Ganassi, and he's won like 4 championships in the Indy 500 since then.
Yes.
But now McLaren are claiming they spent a lot of money on the assumption that because he had signed a contract and he just walked away from it.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Oh, Felipe Drugovich has left Aston Martin because he couldn't see a way forward, and he's now concentrating on Formula E.
I mean, Drugovich probably didn't think Alonso would still be racing at the age of like 44.
Yeah.
So, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, he's been reserved for like 2 or 3 years, and he's just really struggling.
I think he won Formula 2.
Yeah, but then he's kind of
It
in
seems
that
like
kind of limbo, isn't he?
half of the F2 winners, you've got like, I think Russell won F2, Leclerc, Piastri, and then the other half are like these Drugovich or Nick de Vries,
Yeah.
who kind of just don't really get there. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a tough sport. Anyway,
And then you get drivers like Colapinto, who was kind of nowhere in F2.
and he was hailed as really good, and then
Well, because he had like a few decent races in the Williams. He's got a full-time driver at Alpine. Not to say that he doesn't deserve it, it's just a bit...
Also, Alpine are a fairly awful car at the moment.
I mean, I'm looking at his racing record. Yeah, Formula 2, Colapinto's best finish was 9th. In the championship with 1 victory.
Yeah.
Whereas that year was won by someone... Well, Bortoletto, fair enough. But then
again, Bortoletto's kind of been a bit nowhere as well.
Well, I think he's actually done a really good job in the Sauber, considering.
Yeah.
But between Colapinto and Bortoletto, you've got drivers like Jack Crawford and Zane Maloney and Paul Aron, who aren't even really in the conversation.
No, it is a really odd kind of situation in a way. I suppose because there's so few seats actually in Formula 1, and a lot of people kind of go to DTM or IndyCar or
Sports car racing or Formula E.
Or even just become like sim or test or reserve drivers for the F1 teams.
It's a weird thing where you can be a very successful racing car driver who never even gets close to F1 but still have a good career and a good life.
Yeah.
It's just sort of it's a very weird place to be.
Yeah. Anyway, next up we have got Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, which is pretty good track.
It's kind of going to be good to come back to a real full-time racetrack, isn't it?
Yeah, because it was Singapore and it was Baku before that. What was it before that?
Monza.
Which is also a bit of a weird one.
Yeah.
Because it's like maximum top speed.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kota's a proper racetrack with corners.
And run-off areas and gravel and curbs and
Yeah. Long straights and twisty bits. It's pretty good.
it's a weird because it's a sprint weekend, and we were saying before we switched the microphones on,
Yes.
sprint qualifying is at 10:30 at night.
Yeah, it ends at 11:15.
I mean, in UK time. And also, as we said before, sprint weekend, 1 practice. I mean, it's a fairly familiar track, so they shouldn't need loads of practices.
No, but it's a familiar track that usually has something weird going on with the surface, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's usually some, like, it's been resurfaced or something.
Yeah, and
Well,
then
there was that one year it was very bumpy.
so we've got practice 1, sprint qualifying, sprint, and then qualifying is 10 till 11. I hope that doesn't go into a 2.5 hour session. And then the race
Yeah.
is 8 o'clock at night on a Sunday, which is a bit...
That's a bit... Well, yeah, you just watch the race and then you go to bed because it'll be like
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, it almost has to finish at 10, and it's Texas, so it'll almost never rain.
Yeah. And it's usually not usually too much drama apart from those like DSQs for the plankware and the Ferrari.
Yeah, see, I think the thing with the Ferrari is they've stopped developing it, so it is just going to be bad.
Then again, Hamilton has been fairly positive about the Ferrari overall.
Yeah. I mean, he says the feel of it is good.
Yeah.
And he's got the hang of the braking. It's just that they can't run it at the right height to have any kind of success.
And he is also he's not far off Leclerc generally nowadays.
No, he's definitely made massive progress.
I think he's also probably quite positive about next year's Ferrari, which might be why he's trying to stay upbeat about this one, even if this one can't go top speed because of the plank.
Yeah, I've heard rumours that not only do Mercedes have the best package,
Again,
but apparently Ferrari have gone down a very high risk route of massive amounts of power, possibly at the risk of compromising reliability. But anyway,
thing is, championships are won on consistency, so...
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a weird approach. Anyway, I think we're going to have to wrap it up there. I will go and have some Lemsip and stuff for my cold.
Yeah, I've just started getting a cold, so hopefully I'm not super bunged up by the next one.
Yep.
But we're not many races left now.
6 races, 3 sprints.
Yeah, I make 174 points remaining.
Yeah, 150 plus 24. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I just use my spreadsheet. Just count the empty spaces multiplied by 25.
So what did you say it was? 174?
Yeah, well, I counted the empty race spaces.
So Lewis can get to 299, which would actually only put him 3rd in the championship.
Yeah, he's quite a way off.
But Leclerc would get to just under 350, which would make him the winner. Yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay then, right, well thank you for listening.
Yep.
My new book comes out on Thursday, Sinister Inheritance. I've done all the pre-orders and all the good stuff like that, so that's fun.
Cool.
You're still doing official Tibby and releasing videos, aren't you, on YouTube?
Yeah, doing quite well, generally speaking.
Okay then, right, I will say thank you for listening and goodbye, and hopefully I'll be a bit clearer next time you listen.
Yep. Cool. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.